Rudranam Shankara Chasmi. Among Rudraganas, I am Shankara. So who are these Rudraganas? Rudranam Shankarascha Asmi. So who are these Rudraganas? They are the deities of destruction. Deities of destruction. So among the deities of destruction, who is the chief of Rudraganas? Shankara, the leader. Lord Shiva, Lord of destruction. Now very interestingly, Shankara means Sham Karoti iti Shankaraha. Sham means auspiciousness. Sham Karoti. The one who brings auspiciousness is Shankara. You see, the Lord of destruction is also known as Lord of auspiciousness. So it means what? Destruction equal to auspiciousness. Why is the Lord of destruction called Lord of auspiciousness? This is so because Bhagavan's destruction is always constructive destruction. There is some good purpose for which destruction happens. So that is the unique feature about this destruction. In this Prakriti itself, nature itself, if you see, the seed gets destroyed and in its place what comes? A sprout comes, plant comes. So every stage is destroyed only for the coming of the next stage. The flower is destroyed and in its place comes fruit. This is one aspect. Even if you see in the animal kingdom, it is very cruel to watch when a lion eats a deer or a buffalo. Many times we find why Bhagavan is allowing such cruelty. Innocent creatures like deer, etc., being eaten away by lion. It is very heartbreaking. But then, how should we console ourselves? And it's a fact of life also. The fact of life is there is a price to be paid for evolution in life. All of us, we have come to evolve in spiritual path. It is a journey. And in this journey, we are all traveling from ignorance to knowledge, darkness to light, imperfection to perfection. So this is the process that is going on. So now for evolution, there is a price to be paid. Nothing comes free in this world. No pain, no gain. So when this deer is going through that pain, that suffering of being eaten up, so then that Jivatma, actually that deer is a Jivatma. That Jivatma is also evolving to the next stage. Maybe that being gets a next higher birth of a human being. We don't know. In fact, all of us have such a past. We all have come through those stages only. As insects, as birds, as animals. Now we are in human beings. Very many human births have already been passed. Again, there is an evolution from tamas to rajas to sattva. Nobody gets stagnant in this world. Everybody is pushed out from this universe. The universe is designed for us to evolve. We have no choice. Whether you like it or not, this universe will force you to evolve. And the force comes from suffering. So suffering is a blessing. The Rudraganas give you suffering. Rudraganas make you suffer, and every suffering leads to introspection. When we introspect, we find that, oh, these are the mistakes I have done. We have to correct. So introspection leads to correction, and that is how evolution happens. So suffering also, they are at different levels. And all sufferings are blessings in disguise only. For example, at the body level, there is suffering at the physical level, emotional level, intellectual level, spiritual level. Every suffering finally comes as a blessing. Physical level suffering, when some disease comes, what happens? You will find that people become very health oriented. Some disease comes and then you become disciplined with respect to your eating habits. Yes or no? It is the suffering at the body level only which makes us disciplined with respect to what we eat, with respect to exercise, yoga, pranayama, everything. When does it start? When I start falling sick. Suffering is necessary. Otherwise, we tend to become tamasic, lazy, careless. So suffering at the body level makes us disciplined, makes us careful, makes us alert. Again, it is this suffering at the body level, disease at the body level, which creates a fear of death also. Because a time will come when the disease cannot be cured by any medicine. A time has to come. Idam shariram parinamapeshalam patatyavashyam slatha sandhi jarjaram. Every joint will become weak. The body will decay and the body has to die. Now this fear that a time will come when I will have to die, what happens then? Then our spiritual seeking becomes very intense, very serious. Otherwise it is just chanting Bhagavad Gita only for some award reward. But the real seriousness comes when you come to know the purpose. This is a science which can take you out of the cycles of birth and death, the cycles of suffering. So that is when you become serious about life. So that seriousness comes only because of the active participation of Rudragana in our life. So at the physical level, again at the emotional level, we are attached to our near and dear ones. We get so attached, and suddenly when something happens to our near and dear ones, we are shaken to such an extent that people say, I don't want to even live without my dear one. Their Rudragana is active. So what happens when something happens? We start introspecting. Where did I go wrong? Why am I suffering? So then we come to know that every relationship in this world is impermanent. So it is always better to have a healthy detachment from everyone. A healthy detachment is good. In fact, if I have to attach myself, I must attach only to God, because that is the only permanent relationship. This lesson has to be taught. This lesson cannot be taught sweetly. This lesson has to be taught in a bitter way only. Injection cannot be given by what you call, injection has to be poked. Poking pain has to be there. Isn't it? There are certain lessons which cannot be taught sweetly, in a gentle way. So Bhagavan gives measured dose of suffering to teach us lessons. So emotional suffering is there, intellectual suffering, confusion. When do we understand the value of knowledge? When we suffer due to confusion, when we suffer due to ignorance. So therefore, every suffering is finally a blessing in disguise. Suffering at the Adhyatmika level, Adi Bhautika level, Adi Daivika level. Different types of sufferings are there. And again, it is only through suffering that we understand the value of a thing. Sometimes Bhagavan gives suffering to teach us the value of a thing. For example, the value of food is understood only when we suffer hunger. The value of peace is understood only when we suffer a warlike situation. There are so many things which you are enjoying, but we are not grateful for it because we don't understand the value of it. So sometimes Bhagavan has to take us to the other extreme to make us understand the value of what has been already provided. So these are all the lessons of life which Rudraganas teach us. So the Lord of Rudragana has to be Shankara only, the one who, in the end of all suffering, the end result is auspiciousness. End result is auspiciousness. So this is the way we have to, this is the attitude we must have in life when we go through different sufferings in life. Suffering of, what you call, physical pain, emotional pain, honor, dishonor, praise, criticism are all different types of suffering. So this is the spirit with which we have to take it. Whatever suffering Bhagavan is giving, it is only for our good. Then what happens? Internally you develop a strength to face it. So that strength comes from positive attitude. But suppose this positive attitude is not there, what will happen? The sufferings will lead us to depression. When negatively we handle suffering, we end up being depressed. When positively we handle suffering, then we are able to cheerfully accept this suffering and internally we become strong. So this right understanding has to be there. Right.